Okay. Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we're going to be doing another vintage cube draft. This time, though, it's going to be a stipulation where me, who I'm here joined by my friend Daniel,
Hello again.
we're going to take turns picking. I've kind of okie rigged a block so we can't see the cards we're going to be picking, or each other's going to be picking. But you guys will still be able to see them in the recording, so you'll know what we're picking, and we really won't. We'll know what each other's taking, or ourselves is taking, but he won't know what I've picked, and we're getting probably ready, so you might want to close your eyes and wait until we start.
All right.
All right, actually, we're right in, and it's perfect. We actually can't see the barricade.
Awesome.
Or we can see the barricade, we can't see the cards we're picking.
Barricade is operating perfectly.
Yep. All right, so we're also going to try and describe what we're talking about. You'll be able to see the mouse kind of hovering over what we're looking at and talking about. But the idea is we're each going to take the card we think is the best for whatever reason it may be, and then we will pass the, I keep wanting to call it a microphone, the remote, the mouse thingy-majigger, and we'll pass it to the other person, and then they'll open their eyes and make their pick, or turn around and make their pick, whatever. So we're going to take this one because I've talked for a while, and there's nothing else that looks that great in the pack. Plus, this is one of my favorite cards to play. And, yeah, so we're just going to take this one.
Awesome. All right. So, obviously, I don't know much.
Is the pack already there?
Yep, it's there. So,
Okay, cool.
let's see. Now, I've seen cards with these little accolades right here, or maybe that's not the correct term, but there's these little symbols here, and it seems like those are usually some pretty good ones. But I also know that these multicolored ones are pretty good. So I'll go with this one. Alright. Your turn.
All right, you picked? Okay. Hey, no hairballs. Okay, so this looks pretty good. There's a lot of really good cards here. This one's pretty awesome. This one's pretty awesome. She's great. Which I guess actually calling it a she is kind of giving away information about what I'm picking. But because I know his only real resources into the game is previous videos and the one other time we drafted together. Well, I guess it's a couple times we tried to draft, but
Yeah.
the one other video. But again, I only know what I picked, so I don't know what he was picking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a card I really would like to play, and we're going to go from there. So.
Awesome.
And now, I can't see the packs because I'm turned away, and I close my eyes half the time. But he closes his eyes, so. You got the next pack up?
Yep, next pack's up and running, and so I'm going to attempt to fit into this color scheme that I chose the first time, so.
Oh, another thing you can do is double clicking is probably the easiest, but you can also right click and add to picks, I believe it is, which will automatically put it in your picks too if you'd prefer.
Alright, so between the two I was looking at, I'm going to go with this one. Seems like it'll be more advantageous. Your turn.
Alright. Okay, we got some good stuff here. So as far as the colors or color I have picked from so far, oh, I can't find the mouse. Oh boy. Yeah. Shouldn't have poured such a strong drink. Alright, so
Those were some good ones.
this isn't the one I thought it was, but I kind of want to avoid picking cards outside of the color scheme I'm already going into. On that note, though, the cards that are in that color scheme in this pack do not impress me. So I think I might just take this card because it's pretty versatile and pretty awesome. So, all right. Yep, add to picks.
All right. So as I said before, these cards are typically the ones that catch my eye right away. However, this one seems to be a little bit more colorful, but that one's quite a bit more expensive. Unfortunately, I wish I knew the difference between these two right here, but But I'm definitely gonna go with this one.
I mean, I think this is half the fun.
All right, it's your turn.
Is the fact that I have this like kind of built into my mind strategy, and you don't really know like what's going on.
No, not
too
at
well?
all. Well, like it's funny because like now I have somewhat of some knowledge about like what certain cards mean and stuff like that. Like I know what cards mean at the surface level, but I don't really understand the connections between a lot of them. So that's kind of where I'm struggling.
Well, then you don't fully understand like the mechanics of all the types and stuff like that. Something new to you too. So,
Right.
oh, okay, we're making that pick. I think that's the best card in the pack.
Awesome. Okay.
I'm not sure if they can hear me back here, but given the fact that the in the first recording you could hear everything.
All right. Yeah, I could hear literally everything. That was really funny.
We sounded so stupid.
All right, so I'm definitely gonna go with this one. It definitely fits the theme I've been going with. So, oh yeah, it's your go.
Okay, so we're back to the first pack, and we're still recording, which is what I meant to look at last time too, but I didn't. So, I don't like this card. I mean, it's not bad. It's just it's not kind of where I really want to be at. But yet, neither is this card. So because of that, I'm going to pick a card that I hope he's kind of picking cards in that color and that in that general style, in hopes that we'll make the deck mesh. So I'm going to go here, and it should be yours.
All right, getting shorter on time.
Yeah, which is something I forgot to mention is keep an eye on the timer because it gets shorter as we go.
Although this probably won't be too advantageous, it's one of the only cards that fits the color scheme I've been going with. So, bam, your turn.
Which sometimes you end up where that's the only picks you can make. Alright, so again, gonna pick a card I hope he's kind of paying attention to that scheme because the other card that's for us isn't bad in any way. It's a really good card, but it's a little bit more narrow than the other one. So I'm hoping the other one's gonna be something we can go into. Alright, should be your pick.
Alright. So again, kind of slim pickings here. I actually almost chose this one last time, I remember, so I'm definitely going to go with this one again.
That's a good feeling in these kind of drafts when you don't pick a card the first time around, but then it comes back and isn't available again the next time.
Right.
Alright, so I'm going to make my pick, and then these last two are both yours.
Alright.
Alright, there you go.
Alright, so yeah, that one seems more advantageous for sure. And we're going to end up, oh darn it. We're going to end up with this one, so.
Okay, so now the next pack might be up. Is it up or?
Yep,
no,
it's up.
okay.
Yeah, it's up.
No, that's okay. You can look. Again, in this one there's 15 cards. It's not that big of a deal when you look because there are so many cards in it. So, based on what I've already picked and based on what I hope he's picked, there's a couple good cards. So, removal spells are important, and for all I know, he might not be thinking about removal spells. It might just be picking creatures or planeswalkers or stuff like that. And I know myself, I've picked limited amounts of removal. So it might be good to start thinking about that. Plus, that is down the road I initially wanted to start in. But, of course, that color's kind of dried up, which feels a little awkward. This one's also a really good one if we have stuff it can actually use. But I think just as picking a card that, again, I hope is down the alley he's going, that I'm trying to get on that alley in, I'm going to go and take this one. He's also just great and might be worth playing that type of a deck anyway. Alright, so picked already.
Alright. Awesome. Okay, so there's quite a bit of stuff here. Darn it. So there's two that I'm really looking at. This one and this one. Discard. I don't know if I want to do that. Alright, so I'm going to go with this one purely based off the fact that that other one didn't sound quite as good. So, and also this is basically what I've been picking this whole time. So,
Alright, so interesting stuff. So sadly, again, the cards in the colors that we picked aren't very interesting. But yet the cards in the color we're hoping he's going into, which is now starting to feel more like the color we just might as well be picking from, are pretty good. But at the same time, there is this card which is good no matter what, and is probably going to get played no matter what. So my actual inclination is to just take that card instead. Because to be honest, we probably play it regardless of how either of us have picked. It's just that good. Other than that, there's nothing else that really sticks out. Everything requires us to be either getting lucky and picking them ourselves, or to happen for the other one to be picking the cards we need to match. Which, you guys know the answer, but I highly doubt that's the case. So we're going to go here. It should be yours.
Okay. Lose one life. I don't like that. Alright. I've picked plenty of these, so I'm not gonna pick any more of those, and this one fits the color that I want better, so I'm going with this. Perfect. Okay.
Alright. Alright, so some pretty interestingly good stuff here. A card that's directly into what I started out with, that is a really good card and really worth it, but again, we don't really have stuff to support that. A removal spell, a really good equipment, but again, we have to have had a lot of creatures picked for this to be good, and we may not. So I got to think about that when I'm trying to pick this card. So it's better to try and take cards that have just their own individual value, just because in case we're not anywhere near it and we have two completely different sets of cards, we're more likely to be able to play something at least. So I guess with that being said, I'm going to take this one. It's the more powerful of the two. Okay.
Land. Instant. Return target creature. Alright, that seems like it could be pretty good. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Yeah, alright, your turn.
Alright, so again, I feel like it's important just to pick cards that are generically, or not generically, but are going to be good kind of in general. Which could lead to us picking cards that are just not actually good enough, but I feel like it's going to be better to have a deck that can be played as opposed to two half of decks trying to play together. On the other hand, this card is basically whatever we want it to be, which could just be good, especially if we don't have a pile of cards that mesh enough to be a deck. But I think I'm just going to take this one, just because it's, again, fits either way. All right, should be your pick.
That's interesting. Okay, so there's this one that I'm looking at and this one that I'm looking at. Again, I'm aware that both of them have their place. I'm just not sure which one should be prioritized. So I'm just going to go with my best guess, which would be this one. And it's your turn.
Alright, so we got some stuff back that we kind of liked. At least this one. So we probably take that one. Another thing to note, something that I find interesting that you might find interesting, Daniel, or find cool. So when the way these packs are being passed is we each start with them. The first pack we pass to our left. So then the next pack though we pass to our right.
Okay.
And then the last pack will pass to our left again. So it's interesting because there's different people on each side, so you're passing them different cards and different types of cards. All right, and here's your pick. I don't know. That to me is one of my favorite parts about draft because they could be drafting the same type of deck we're trying to draft.
I see. Okay.
And if they are, then they could be one way they're going to get the cards before us, so they get taken first. But the other way, we're going to be passing them the cards.
I see.
So, all right, we're just going to take this one because again, it's a card we liked before, and it came back.
So there really aren't any that fit the color scheme I was looking at. However, I think between these two, this one would be best. So, your turn.
All right, again, only one of these we really talked about or looked at before, and that was this one. So, there you go. Another thing I find interesting is the fact that it's a little bit harder for me to talk about a card because I don't... Or it's a lot... I mean, it's easier for me to talk about a card because whatever I say isn't going to tell you, like, anything. You know, you don't know the cards very well.
Right.
So, on the other hand, though, you talking about cards, you could give away what a card is to me, not even realizing what you're saying is.
Right.
So I think that's kind of interesting how you almost have to kind of walk on eggshells with what you talk about.
I definitely am.
For me, I can basically describe exactly what a card does, and to you, you'll know basically what I might have picked, but that doesn't really help you because you don't know anything else about the card.
And yeah, I actually am being really careful about what I say because I know that, like, I can't just come out and, you know, say what the options are and shit. So I'm just, like, trying to be as vague as I can. It's interesting for sure.
All right, so for me, I'm going to switch things up. We have one of the most powerful cards ever printed in the entire game. And if we can play it, it's absolutely worth playing. Alternatively, there's nothing else really in this pack that I find interesting. I'm hoping we're not here in this color because I've been deliberately avoiding cards of that color. So, although it could be possible, that's like his primary color he picked. But we are going to pick this one just because it's awesome. All right.
All right. Man, that one looks really badass. It also seems to fit, you know, similarly to the color scheme I've been choosing. There's also this one. It looks like it could be helpful, so that's kind of a tough choice there. I've chosen plenty of these. I don't think I've gotten enough of these, so I'll go with this. All right, your turn.
So another thing that I thought about was how funny would it be if you're taking like a bunch of lands and stuff like that, and so I'm picking all these random cards, and so we just have like this weird pile of lands that don't help us, and then like cards that are kind of okay. I think that might be kind of funny to have happen. I mean, I doubt that's the case based on the way you have been talking, but I still think it's funny if it does. And this card right now is... this card's pretty good too, but we haven't really taken anything that's going to push it over the top. So I think this one's just a better card by itself. So we are going to take this one. Again, my thoughts were I want to take cards that are individually more powerful. So that way if they don't work together with anything else other than what I've already picked, that's okay. But she works well with what I've already picked. So, all right, it's your turn.
Alright, so these two right off the bat I'm looking at, that seems really expensive, but it looks like it could be pretty damn good.
But diamonds are a girl's best friend. They're expensive.
There we go, yeah, that's a good argument. I like that. So, remove all counters though. That's pretty good too. Alright, I'm going to go with this one just because it looks really like it's going to be good. Perfect, okay.
Alright, so the funny thing about you saying remove all counters, I'm like 99% sure what card that is because of how unique of an effect that actually is.
I didn't choose it, unfortunately.
But, so, I mean, and that's the thing, like, but that's a case where I highly doubt you thought that would give it away.
No.
But it's just, it's such a rare effect, and especially inside these cars, inside these cars. We're going to get in these cars and drive them. Cards.
Drive him to victory.
Yep. There's specific ones, and I've played enough of these now that I kind of have an idea of what's where. So that's only one card like that in this entire thing. Alright, so we talked about removal spells earlier, and again, I don't think we're here, and I don't think we're going to have enough of that. So I do want to take this one because A, removal's good, it's a good removal spell, and yeah, I don't know, besides that. It's all you, Migo.
Now that looks like it'll be really good, and I was choosing some of these, but I'm starting to think that's probably not a very good idea. So
Is it because of something I said?
Yeah, thankfully I only chose a couple of them, so it wasn't too bad.
To be fair, it could be fine. You never know. That's the whole
Shit.
thing.
That's your turn.
That's alright. It ain't gonna kill you. Alright, so a card like this is just never gonna probably happen in a random deck. It takes way too much effort to make work well. This one's pretty good because it just depends more on what our opponent has. And again, it's a card we could play no matter what. This is a land, though, that would help us play a lot of the cards we've been picking. This one, interestingly enough, helps a little bit too. Then there's just some removal, but I don't like any of the removal. So then we're going to take this one. Alright, and it's all yours.
So there's some interesting color schemes here. These two look pretty interesting to me. Trying to decide which one would be better.
I would say the one on the right. Again, keep in mind I have no idea what he's looking at. I am looking at my dog currently, not him, so, and not his picks. This is gonna suck if they can't hear me.
I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they probably can, but
it's your turn.
okay. Sure they probably can, but it would suck if they couldn't. All right, so based on our picks before, I haven't picked anything that's got us card advantage really, so I'm gonna take the card advantage card, even though this one's pretty good. This one's okay too, but again, I hope we're not there, and this one I don't think we're gonna be there. So we will take this one, and it's all you. Alley-oop.
Fuck. Again, not too many colors I really like here. So it looks like this one would probably be the best. So.
You ever see that movie Shaq Fu?
Unfortunately not, but that sounds really interesting.
Neither have I, and I'm assuming it's got something to do with Shaq doing kung fu. At least I hope, because otherwise I feel like that's false advertisement.
Shaq Fu.
I kind of want to watch it.
I'll have to check that out, huh?
Alright, we're going to pick this card and just pass on.
Alright, so this one looks like it's pretty damn good, and it looks like one of the only good ones available, so I'm definitely going to take it. So.
Alright. So this will be my last pick, and you'll get the last two that are left. Both of these cards are really good, but I hope we can probably play this one more than the other one. So we're going with that. Alright. And now our last two picks.
Alright, well that's the only one of the color I need. And thankfully I actually ended up with this one, so not too bad.
Alright. So we'll leave the window up for a second until we get to the deck building thing. Or we won't. Okay, so looking at our cards. Actually, it's actually a lot of the same colors.
Nice.
That's a lot of black and white with some red. That's all right. Hey, it.
Not too bad. I might stick around just to see how the game goes real quick.
Yeah, if you want to see, just stick around for one game. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so just to kind of go over it, what we've gotten. So, and thankfully we don't have a time limit here. So, lands, which actually, I mean, this one helps us cast other stuff. So does this one. This one probably doesn't help us too much. We don't have very many artifacts, but it's interesting to see. You actually did take quite a few lands.
Turn it.
But none of them are really bad. And the nice thing is, though, you also were sticking with the black cards theme. Mm-hmm. So you were taking lands that produce black.
Yes.
Which was a good idea. That really helps, because also that way that would help with you picking black cards. If I'm playing red cards, this card helps. If I'm picking green cards, this card helps.
I see. Okay.
I picked this one because I was picking black and white cards. But and that's it. Like, I didn't think you were picking green, which obviously I couldn't have been more right. You picked no green cards at all.
None, right?
And neither did I. So that was my initial thought was, all right, you're probably not playing any green cards.
Nope. Yeah.
Or not thought. My hope. I hoped you weren't playing green cards.
No, I avoided. There were a couple that were really good, but I avoided them. I was like, no, I don't know why.
But me, so I picked some red, some black and white mainly. And like we each picked Well, you picked one blue card.
Yeah.
I picked 2 blue cards. Or you picked that. Oh, you picked 2 because you picked him. He's blue too.
Okay.
So, although interestingly enough, we have a lot of the like. This is a really powerful red-white card. This one's pretty good in a more aggressive deck, but still great. Like, we have a lot of really good cards, but definitely it looks like so white and black looking pretty good here. Swear I'm not retarded. So we have 20 black and 20 white cards.
Nice.
So now that's not saying we're gonna all these are necessarily playable, but that's a lot. And then the rest are like white and red, and then red. So that means red and black works. These are cards we can play no matter what. Same with this. Oh, and this is something we can play. So if we take out all of these other cards, I guess we could technically play you, even though you are a little expensive. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so interestingly here enough, we only have we have 35 cards, which means ideally we want to cut 12 cards, which, you know, may not be that hard. So these 2 cards are not that great because we have to be more aggressive for them to be good. This card hurts us. Where'd it go? If we are trying to have more weaker creatures, this card does a narrow thing that's probably better sideboard. This card can hurt us a lot depending on how expensive our cards in our deck are, because he lets us draw next card, but we take damage equal to that card's converted mana cost. So like, obviously we hit a 7, that's pretty bad. Or God forbid the 13.
Yeah.
Fire Blast, it makes us sacrifice 2 mountains to play it cheaper. Other than that, it's a 4 damage spell, so not great. While this is a Planeswalker, it's not one of the better ones necessarily. This one forces us to be more aggressive. He's not a very good Planeswalker. So we have 3 more cuts that look like cuts right now. I'm not a big fan of this. It's a pretty good ability being able to take stuff from our opponent's hand. So picking it was a good call.
Thanks.
Because it is very useful. I don't know about that. And then I also don't know about Vampire Hexmage. Because while that is a useful ability, it's a little bit better sideboard than main board. Or main deck. And then based on what we have here, we want 1 more cut. I'll probably cut the 13 cost card because it's a little expensive. Actually, this one's not very good either. So we can actually bring something back if we take that one out. Which I think will be... you know, we'll take the Planeswalker. He's okay enough. And then we can play this land, this land, this land. Probably don't want to play the colorless land. It might be a little risky. And you probably noticed this one's a blue card. And you're probably thinking, wait, we can't... Why is there a blue card in the deck? So that weird mana symbol at the top, you see how it's got like a circle, a squiggle line through it where the blue symbol is?
Yeah.
So what that is Phyrexian mana. So now it explains it down here what it means, which is can be paid with either blue or 2 life.
Oh, nice.
So in other words, we can pay 2 life for it and play 3 generic mana, and then it can be played. So just because we don't have the blue mana doesn't mean we can't cast it. So we'll add those lands, which is nice because we have 2 dual lands, a land that makes all of our lands swamps, and then add basics. We don't want the blue because, again, we don't need blue to cast that card. See how that looks. So we have 1, 2, maybe one more red source. Maybe one less white source. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Maybe that feels good. We also have this to grab us a basic. Yeah, I mean, honestly, and it's funny because actually I don't think you picked any of these white cards. Like, you picked these two. Which is funny because I started picking white because I thought maybe you might be there. Because there are a lot of really, like, nice looking creatures.
Okay.
And, like, strong creatures. Also, I mean, who doesn't like angels? Okay, so that seems pretty good. Seems like we have a deck here. So, because the program we're using to record this with the microphone we have, it sometimes kind of corrupts itself. So what we're going to do is record each segment on its own. So we're going to record one more video, one of the matches Daniel will stick around for. Mm-hmm. But then he'll leave after that. So when that happens, I'll probably switch over to my headset. And it'll be a different program, but that's not something you guys need to care about. So, back in just a moment for our first round.